Back in university, 22 years ago, well, I studied in Santiago, in the center, in downtown. It was a gorgeous place because it used to be a nunnery. It was an antique, gorgeous place, high ceilings, the smell of flowers, creepers all around, an amazing place to study design. I was a very responsible and dedicated student. As the second child of 7 from a retired Marine and a hardworking mom, I would say I was very good at following orders. So when we started to innovate through design projects, which was a very important task during my career, it was easy to me to follow tasks. So those tasks were like, go to this museum and make 20 sketches, or go to X place and write a list of what you see, and things like that. Very easy to follow. So one day I was tagged on how to make conceptual maps. Do you know what conceptual maps are? You start by a topic and then you divide it in different concepts, going down and to the sides. The goal is to divide this category in multiple concepts. So let's say we've got transportation. We've got transportation on land, on water, and in the air. So there's now 3 new categories. And then each one you can divide it in more concepts. Let's say transportation on land. You have maybe public and private transportation. Public is a bus or subway. So that is how this list keeps growing and growing. It seems like it will never end. So to fulfill this task I was given, I started making a first page, then sticking more because I had like multiple concepts I started creating and thinking of. There was no Google during those times, so it was pretty much what I had in my head, what I could remember. So as this map gets bigger and bigger, I think I am doing a great job. And I am not realizing of the problem I will have eventually. So the next day, I brought this map to the class. The teacher never checked it, but he looked at the class and said, choose one concept from your conceptual map and find a problem to solve and develop it. And that will be your design project for the whole semester. So there I was, a self-demanding student, passionate about design, that I want to make everything right, completely overwhelmed with possibilities, shocked. So I remember I went home, it was a Friday, so I had the whole weekend to think about this concept I was going to choose. I remember staring at this gigantic page, trying to choose something with no clue, and then just laying over my bed, just looking at the ceiling and thinking of what I was going to do. There was too much options, too much possibilities. I didn't know which one was a better problem to solve. Were there really problems? And also I didn't have much time to decide. I couldn't fail. I couldn't repeat this subject. It was too important. Have you ever felt this way before? That you have too many options and you don't know how to choose in between? It's like we are set to design over a certain amount of options, or we won't be able to choose at all. Long story short, back to the class. Well, I wasn't the only one who had this problem. So the teacher just gave different concepts to each one to develop. He gave us a much more specific concept to develop. We had to focus on it, go deeper, and develop something quite specific. I remember I had to work with the topic toddlers at home. I started working with my conceptual map again, of course, but this time very focused. Now that I had boundaries, that I was framed on a certain topic, I could surprisingly go deeper and deeper, finding problems that is difficult to see when you're just going over the surface. I discovered that creativity and innovation are not necessarily limit-free, but the opposite. Defining a frame to work in is where the most different ideas come up, because it demands you going to the inside, to the core, finding solutions and ideas that only appear when you scratch the surface, when you peel the different layers of the onion. But the point here is not the solution I came up with, but what I learned from this situation. So many years passed and I got caught by pin loom weaving. The more I researched, the more patterns, tools, sizes of pin looms I could find. So then I discovered that I could mix it with crochet or knitting, and there was a whole world of possibilities and ideas without end. And also confusion. And that confusion was expressed in my designs. And I didn't want to stop, because I thought I was showing my creativity this way, mixing all this stuff I was discovering. I was a bit confused until I remembered about this old story back in university and conceptual maps. So I sat down and just made a decision. I took one topic related to pin loom weaving and decided to work only on it. I decided to scratch the surface in a certain topic and unleash my creativity through it. And I chose specifically woven squares. So at first I was a bit afraid of just leaving all the other techniques and ideas behind, but suddenly ideas started to appear, and new ideas, not the regular ones, by going deeper and deeper on this certain technique. Creativity wasn't about going outside, but going inside. And the rest is history. That was the starting point to design more than 80 garments, objects, decorations until now. And I haven't seen that my creativity declines at all. Every time I feel overwhelmed by ideas that come to mind, different things to develop or create, I just repeat to myself, stay with the square. Go deeper, stay with the square. And what about you? Do you stay with the square?